The rest of them are watching on YouTube.
Priya is pro with this. So we're always having our other meetings and she knows, like, good. Thank you. I mean, it's nice Saturday morning that you also organize this in a good start.
So ma'am, we'll start with the prayer, and the girl, once she finishes the prayer, we'll hand over the mic to Jyoti ma'am. Okay?
Sure. So it's 10:51.
Yeah.
We'll stick to our time.
Just 1 minute.
Sure. How many girls have we got here on this 100, right? In the Zoom here. Hi girls, can you all hear me? Those of you who have logged in?
Yes.
Okay, good. You don't have to unmute yourself. I'm just saying hi. Okay, great. So we also have our group there.
Melita, I think you can say hi to ma'am. Where are you? Melita, switch on your video. She's the NSS president.
Hi, Melita.
Hi, ma'am.
You don't have to feel too shy. The idea is for we can all be together.
Yes, ma'am.
Princey, Varsha, all of them are on this. That's nice.
Switch on your videos. Pavitra,
This group would like to see.
where are your videos can be on. Mute your audios. She's the NSS president.
Hi, Melita.
Hi, ma'am.
You don't have to feel too shy. The idea is for we can all be together.
Yes, ma'am.
Princey, Varsha, all of them are on this. That's nice.
Switch on your videos. Pavitra,
This group would like to see.
where are your videos can be on. Mute your audios. Audios muted. Otherwise, there's too much of background noise. Please mute your audios.
You don't have to feel too shy. The idea is for we can all be together. Yes, ma'am. Princey, Varsha, all of them are on this. That's nice.
Switch on your videos. Pavitra,
This group would like to see.
videos can be on. Mute your audios. Audios muted. Otherwise, there's too much of background noise. Mute your audios.
You don't have to feel too shy. The idea is for we can all be together. Yes, ma'am. Princey, Varsha, all of them are on this.
I think, ma'am.
Princey, mute your audio. Audio is a noise. We have another 5 minutes. 5 more minutes. Neha, it's a very interesting career. First time I'm hearing somebody doing something like that. Are you going to say that?
Actually, I can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
Too much, yeah. There's too much background noise.
Okay. I will put the plate on mute, everybody. We have another 5 minutes. 5 more minutes.
Priya,
Yeah.
you think they have to do something technically?
First time I'm hearing something.
No, I don't. I don't present at this.
Actually, I can't.
Maybe the other. Ma'am's YouTube, maybe that has to be on silent. Anu ma'am, maybe your YouTube, you can.
Yes, ma'am, I muted myself.
Okay.
Now I fear was please all of you mute your audios. Audios are muted.
Ma'am's YouTube, maybe that has to be on silent.
Please check all of you audios muted. Why is there so much noise? Yes, ma'am, I muted myself. Now I fear please all of you mute your audios. Audios are muted.
Ma'am's YouTube, maybe that has to be on silent.
Please check all of you audios muted. Why is there so much noise? Yes, ma'am, I muted myself. Now I fear please all of you audios. Ma'am, we are checking where there's a noise coming from this room.
Much better. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yes,
Priya, is it okay? Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's all
What
fine.
you
Yeah.
might want to do is tell them to
checking
mute
where
everybody.
there's a noise coming from this room.
Start it again.
Jyoti, 1 second,
Moderator
mute your
can
audio.
mute everybody.
Jyoti, once mute your audio. I'll mute mine. Yes. Okay, that's Jyoti. Are you on 2 computers? Okay. Yeah. Now I think it's clear. I don't know who.
Much
more.
better.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Priya,
ma'am.
is it okay?
Yeah. Perfect.
I think we only have the 4 of us now.
Right. So when I finish speaking, I'll also mute myself so that there's any.
Yes, I will also mute myself. I don't want to do it. Tell them to mute everybody. And Priya, ma'am, moving, you can just keep one of the computers on.
Jyoti, 1 second.
Mute two accounts and just send it. Ma'am, we start with the prayer.
Yes.
Ma'am, we start with the prayer. Yes. Ma'am, we start with the prayer. Yes.
Call upon this time of each and every person who are uttering and this time of most precious time. Now we request Ms.
I really can't hear anything. I don't know what's happening.
There's some background noise.
Yeah. Somebody, I wonder what's happening.
There's some background noise.
I think the YouTube is on somebody's machine. you switch off your, can you mute yourself? This switch off your, can you? Yeah. Is your YouTube on or something, Hepzibah? Mute yourself.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Jyoti, maybe you could just. Is your YouTube on or something, Hepzibah?
No, ma'am. Father, we call upon you in this time of illness and challenge. Thank you for keeping us safe in this pandemic. Today, I pray for your presence to be there on this webinar. Bless each and every person who are attending this webinar. Be with us, guide us, and guard us. In Jesus' most precious name, we pray. Amen. Now, I request Ms. Jody Thomas to introduce the speaker.
Good morning, everybody. Thank God we're early enough. Maybe you can just wave out those of you who I can see on the video. Wave. Don't just smile, girls. Wave out. Okay. Hi, WCCNs. I'd like to start off by just first thanking Dr. Jasper that we are able to curate this program, and my sincere appreciation to Professor Anuradha, who's been in touch with us for quite some time. The idea of this program, as soon as Professor Anuradha spoke to me, I immediately called my dear friend Priya and we discussed. We've been there in your college for over 2 years, I think, and it's been a very good journey. So that's the reason we are here with you today. Thank you for being here. Quickly, how many of you know what is the title of this program? I do hope you read that. Or is it just one of the programs you're all just sitting and attending? Is there anybody who knows the title? Did you read the poster that was put out? Some of you are so nervous, you're turning it off. You can shake your head. You don't have to turn on the speaker. Okay. Careers and beyond. So the whole program, we've taken extra effort in curating it for you. The reason I approached Priya to be part of me for this, along with the complete support of Professor Anuradha, is life today is confusing for many of us. You're not alone. There are many things that we've also faced earlier, and this is not the first time, it will not be the last, but we're all fortunate that we have this wonderful gadget which brings us all together. I think gratitude is important, so I'm going to first thank Priya for being with me and bringing this whole thing together. The idea is we have decided to make it as a series of program for all of you, for your entire college, all the students. The reason is so much of confusion. I don't know where to go. We're going to be bringing a series of professionals who will be talking to you on various topics, and everybody who's going to be there will be somebody who's been there, done that. So exactly where Neha and Priya, that's the reason they're here. It's with a lot of thought we have put this program together, and what you're going to be seeing soon will also have very interesting speakers who will tell you what to do and how to go about it. The idea of this particular program is to say that you are looking at a very challenging time right now, and it's ever challenging because you universities, am I going to worry about it there in front of you? So with that, my first and our first talk series will be with Priya Gautam, and I'm sure one of the students you'll be introducing her, and Neha Shah. Priya comes with tons of experience. Priya and I have, we can go we go a long way, literally. So the idea in having this is, just a minute, there's something not okay here. Are you able to hear me? Okay. So we're going to be making sure that any questions you have will be answered at the end of the session, or there's a question in our time. So Priya will talk to you about what she has gone through, so will Neha. And what is my background? I'm not sure how many of you know my name. My name is Jyoti Thomas. I have 33 years, I would say, or more than that, of work experience and life experience between Canada, US, and India. I'm a corporate trainer. I'm an educator with a certified Cambridge authorization of being one. But I don't use it as much as I would say my work is where I am today. That's what has put me here. I'm a practicing NLPist and a Gestalt therapist. I'm resourcer, networker. So with that, I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to hand over to the lovely lady who's going to be introducing my awesome friend and support, Miss Priya Gautam. Mrs. Priya Gautam. Yes, please go ahead. Melita, who's going to be... Okay, Saranya, are you introducing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone. I extend a gracious welcome to Ms. Priya Gautam, Director and CEO of Virginia Tech India, Advisor of New Business Initiatives for Bhumi Academic Institution. When I was curious to know about her, I saw an engrossing interview in which she mentioned about a mantra. One need to have 30 minutes of me time, which is more essential to keep one happy throughout the day. We are really thankful, ma'am, for taking the time out of your busy schedule. We hope our students imbibe and seek an alternative guidance from you. Now I request Ms. Priya Gautam to enlighten the students on career and beyond.
Thank you, Sharanya. That is a great morning for me, both with Jyoti and lovely faces here to see. And I just wrote on my Facebook saying that I'm spending my Saturday morning with awesome students. So for me, students are something which really sort of spikes my, my drink in the morning, my elixir. So it's so nice to see all of you. And I'm really happy to be here because for good or bad reasons, I've been in education for last 22 years in various formats, whether it's technology-based training or classroom training or running a school or running a college. All this is something which I've done. So I'll take you through my journey in due course. We have 20 minutes and I would like to stick to my time so that we know time is of essence for everybody. And that's the first thing I should imbibe when I'm teaching and talking about careers. All right. So there's this lovely quote I always start my, a session is on, Warren Buffett, right? Do you all know Warren Buffett? Just give me a show of hands if you know, just like this. Nobody knows Warren Buffett? Okay.
If you know, show your hands.
If you don't know, Google him.
But you're supposed to know.
You're supposed to know. So he is one of the greatest persons who spoke about minimalistic living, though he's one of the richest person. Okay. So just to get that in a short nutshell, he says, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. And if you think about it, you'll do things differently. So today, this morning, we're doing things differently. That's the first thing we did is to sign up for this program. All of them are on time, on dot. I was really surprised. At 10:45 dot, I see people coming in. So that's the greatest thing that we, I say is a good quality. And the topic of the day today, careers and beyond. Now, there are many people who talk about careers and many people who don't do what they read and what they study. So what I thought was to dissect what we study and what we actually call it as passion. Right? There is a passion for everybody. Today, you see the whole lockdown has brought the best of the chefs, best of the home beauty, best of people who are doing painting. There's so many things that are coming out, the hidden talents, I would say. Slowly and steadily, it's all coming. It somewhere got shelved sometime because of our routine, mundane life, which is 9 to 5. Then you do things and just come back home, do something, and binge watch TV. So all these things have somehow brought us to a realization that we have something as a talent within us, which we need to bring it out. And we have a medium called social media where we are all showcasing. So I don't know, but there's so many social media sites right now, whether it's about food, whether it's about art, whether it's about recycling your clothes. Can I, deliver things to you? Can I do grocery shopping for you? There's so many. Okay, we're talking about home entrepreneurs. So that's a different kind of career that people have chosen. So I'm not going to go into each of that, but I'll just give you a whole idea about how technology has played an important role in our life. So today, we cannot say that technology is different. I am different. We have to coexist together. I think one of the testimony of what we're talking about is today we are all connected through technology. Am I right? How many of us knew Google Meet even before the lockdown? We all knew there's something that collaborative tool, but we never knew about Google Meet or webinar or Zoom. There's so many tools today. So, but then that's the connectivity that we've gone. So once we are connected, world is ours. I don't want you all to explain to me or, when I ask questions, but I would like you all to give a nod saying that, okay, because it's not a physical class and I'm doing it one to many, I would just like to see a show of hands or some activity. Just to bring you all up to speed today, I wanted you all to do one small thing. Take a selfie of what you're trying to do, the class as well as yourself, and hashtag me in my Facebook, Priya Gautam, or on my Insta, which is Rangapriya. I want you all to do it fast before I go to the next slide. Let's see who I can say. I have the window up on my side, and I'm going to see how many of you all are using the technology to do that. I'm going to put that message of what my name is on Facebook. I want you all to tag me. I'm going to see how many of you are active now. All right. So I'm going to see you in 2 minutes there. But before that, I go to the next portion of our subject here. So there's one other person who is a very flamboyant, foreigner. But of course, he is somebody whom people look forward to when they have to live life king size. Oh, do you see me on the screen? I see. That's great. So this guy called Richard Branson, and he spoke about publicity is absolutely critical. A good media story is infinitely more effective than a front page ad. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, because I'm trying to do publicity, but then I'm having a story. My story is that I'm with my students today in the morning. Right. So I'm going to touch upon few technology interventions that have happened in the recent past, which all of us know, but this is like a trivia question. So let me ask you girls, the largest car company doesn't own any cars. So can you let me know which are these car companies? I see Jyoti putting her hand out. Okay, can you all type that answer here? The second one is the largest movie screening company doesn't own a theater. Do you all know that? And all of us are watching. I want your answers. Largest car company doesn't own any cars, right? Kavita, you're absolutely right. There are two, Ola and Uber. Largest movie screening company doesn't own a theater. Wow. I only see Kavita. What about the others? Okay, largest communication company doesn't own a phone. Can I get that answer? Largest food chain industry doesn't own a restaurant, and all of us order from there every day. Right. Absolutely right. I think all of you got all answers right. Yes. When I said food, everybody knew, right? The answer. So that's great. So these are all companies, they all have done disruption in our industry, and that's how we are all connected. If you look at Uber and Ola, we use it for our communication. And the largest hotel, which does not own a hotel, largest homestay, All of you know about it. It starts with an A. Airbnb. So we have a hotel, we have a theater, we have a car company, all of them who don't own anything. So what does it go to say? It's about technology intervention in all our lives, which is what is connected here. Okay. So people who would like to choose careers today, whatever you guys are doing, it's fine. Today we need that basic education for us to do what we want to do in future. I don't tell you all to create your career right now in your life and say, okay, this is what I'm going to follow. You might be doing various different things at various stages in your life. I've seen many women who actually changed their careers even after they're 50 and after 60. So career doesn't start from the day we say 18 when we're choosing science, mathematics, economics, or whatever. But it sort of drives us to a path where we want to go in future. Let's park that aside. I take my story, okay? So I started, to think as to, those days when I was studying, I had only 4 career options: doctor, engineer, lawyer, or a teacher. I could have chosen any of these things, but it was so difficult for me to think of doctor. I thought I have to study very hard, which means 7 years of my life or 10 years of my life is going to just go and study. It's not going to work out. And I never liked science. Then came to engineering. Mathematics was like when, a pain in my heart, and I would barely be able to do maths. So somehow I passed my 11th and 12th and I said, okay, I got it. But then I figured out in mathematics, there are other things which you can like. And a teacher makes a lot of difference. If the teacher is great, you love the subject. And that happened to me. In 10th standard, my teacher was great and I really liked maths. So I moved on to taking something as a core math subject. The last one was a teaching profession. And my mom was a teacher. My mom was a professor. And I never liked to teach because I thought my throat would just go. And I said, no. And I've seen my mom doing it. And there's a lot of hard work. Teachers are, I would say the greatest profession is a noble profession. And I didn't want to be in the noble profession for whatever reason. So, but like I said, these were the 4 options that I had. I chose to take up accounting because I thought I would be a great person who can learn how to do calculation to profit and loss and things like that. So I said, okay, fine, let me take BCom. Easiest thing because I just didn't want to study further than that. And I thought, okay, ideally, finish BCom, get married, get settled. That was what my plan was. And what should I do? My parents pushed me into studying and I studied that. Now, what happened after that? That's the story that I need to talk to you all about. So after BCom, I realized that computers was just starting. We were talking about the age-old days of zeros and ones, the abacus days, COBOL, Photon. I don't think you all have ever even heard about those languages. That's what I learned. Today, we don't even know 20 years later. So which means that technology has changed so much that we don't know what happened in the past. And I'm sure none of you all know COBOL. COBOL was a language. Like today, we are talking about many other languages. COBOL was a language. Photon was a language. Photon was a programming language. DBase. I did Microsoft Word was never existent in my life. I did like Notepad, and that's how we all grew up. So that being said, transformation has happened in our life. So what did I have to do? I had to keep abreast with all these technologies, what's happening around me, and then carve out my career path like that. Right? So after doing BCom, before I finished BCom, I got married. So I was 19, I think, when I got married, and that's it. And I thought, this is it. I'm happy. I'm going to be. So most of us think that marriage is an end all, which is not. I think career is something which everybody has to think about, whether we think about marriage or kids or whatever. Career is something that we need to have. And that's something which opened my mind. And I said, okay, I was very childish when I didn't think of a career, but then this is how now I have a chance to do what I want to do. And I took 4 years to think what I wanted to do. And I really worked towards that the curve which goes up, and it continues to grow. Okay. I went and did my management studies. And again, in that, I wanted to do something very, very clear. I didn't want mathematics. I didn't want science. So I did strategy, which means I talk about various things, various companies. So this would give me an opportunity to look at various brands. I could study the brands, I could dissect the brand, and I could give a solution to the brand. So this is something that I chose as a career path. Now, I wanted to also ratify my knowledge into somebody who will endorse that I'm a great person or I'm a great career person or whatever. So I joined an organization. Again, I started like a teeny weeny organization because I was not confident of what I was at that point of time. So I joined in a non-metro city because my husband was posted there. He was in the armed forces, so we were in a very, very small town called Arakonam and Goa. Goa is a big town, but I won't say that. But Arakonam was this town which is 80 kilometers from Chennai, and that's where I started my career as somebody who was an educator. Again, I remembered my mom. She said she was teaching in a school and in a college, and I started educating people on technology. So I joined a company called Aptech Worldwide in those days, where computers was one of the greatest, place for people to go abroad. People wanted to do a computer course and they would go abroad, right? So all of our, I think some of my friends who all gone there have actually not come back to India. But that was a gate for people to go. So that's a company I joined. And I'm telling you, the salary that I drew on that particular month, first time was 2,500 rupees. And I'm telling you, after that, I never got that salary because I always thought that this is just a stepping stone for me. And from there on, my salary just kept on going because I performed like I never had the next day. So passion is an extremely important thing in your life that you should learn to live and practice that. And if you're truthful to what you're trying to do, success will come. That's my mantra. Somebody talked about my mantra. I always think you don't have to go and shout out saying that I'm the greatest. You don't have to do. If you are good, success will always come to you. And that's something all of you should remember. Good practices in your life, good practices in your ethics, these are all things which will take you far away and make you the most successful person that you are and you can be. And I like to talk to you all because you're very young, you're a moldable age, and you need to know all these things. We see a lot of videos, but if you hear from a person who's gone through it and gone over that, I think all of you will be able to look at somebody as a role model. And each of us will have a role model. I chose my mom to be a role model because, I was the only daughter, a girl child in the family, and she would study with me and she continued to do her MPhil till I graduated because and she never would send me to do group studies to anybody's house. So I always had her as my companion to study all the time. So she would stay up late with me. So you need to find your own mentor in your life whom you can embody and practice and follow them. And that's it. At 40 years of age, she did her MPhil, and why can't I do an MBA at 28 or 29? So it's not too late. So you all have to think about when and where you want. Even today, if given an opportunity, I would like to study. I have to pick the opportunity, but I'm sure I'm going to be doing. But that's how you sort of plan your career into what you want to do. Okay, so don't worry that today you're doing BA, BCom, BSc, whatever, but you might have a calling which will happen in the later part of your life, for which you might want to get specialization to be done. And those can be done in certificate programs or even small diploma programs, which will get you to that particular goal that you want to achieve. Having said that, I joined the multinational company, Tata's, later in 2000 and 1997. None of you would have been born, but then that's where I started my career with a multinational company. So I came from a small B town to a large company in a large city, and that's where the transformation happened. So from there on, I was with all the education companies, and I carved my specialization in education, though I didn't want to be a teaching professional, but I always an educator. I was doing technology-based training. I would do training online. I would make material for people, right from colleges to working professionals to people who are making cars to people who are running cell phone companies. All these companies needed content, and that's exactly what I did. So creation can happen in any form. Did I ever think when I was doing my commerce that I would be in education? No, but it happened by the way. But you have to pursue your passion till the end that you're able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now today, after like 22 years, I decided to be an entrepreneur. In 2015, I called it quits. I said, I am not going to be working for anybody anymore. I have to have a career of my own, a choice that I want to do, because I was trying to manage work, home, house, life, party, and my passion. It's extremely difficult to put all these things together because you need a friend, you need a family, you need a home where you go back and you be yourself. You also need, organizations where they'll enhance your growth. So you look at all these aspects and then you create your own life. And that's what I did in 2015. I came out and I started a consulting firm because I was a strategy specialist. What I could do was only consult. So I said, let me start a consultancy company. So we started a consultancy company and It was very small, very boutique. Then again, I identified what is a niche in the consultancy. There are people like KPMG, PwC, and many of them who are big, but there are always the small and medium companies who need my expertise at a cost which they can afford. So that's where I pitched myself. And sure enough, it sort of saw me growing from brand to brand. And today we have two companies of our own, which is into real estate and into marketing. So these two are things that I work. Now, real estate, because the last company that I worked was in a real estate company. Again, I was focused on education. So I started 4 or 5 colleges as a part of the mandate that I had. And also we worked with foreign universities to bring them into India. So that was one of the things that we did as a part of the whole, creating an infrastructure for education institutions to come to India. Mind you, always it is either technology, training, education, or imparting education. These were the only fields that I was playing around because that was the only place that I think I fitted the best. Today, the versatility is increased with digital growing into whatever fields that we have. I've started working in digital media, technology, learning software, accounting as a software. All these things we've learned as we go, as we traverse through the various decades of improvements in technology. So I'm assuming that all of you have to choose that path. And the endeavor to do this particular event today, and we have Neha, who's a very young entrepreneur as well, as to how she carved out her life. So we are going to bring you stories of various people, various facets of life that they have chosen, the path that they've chosen, and yet made a mark. Why we do success stories? Because Harvard also does success stories. They don't talk about failures. We have to find the failures. Success stories makes you aspire for being that. And we want you all to be in that phase. So there's nothing called as failure if you make sure that failure is something that I'm going to learn my mistakes from. The moment you do that, you're always, in the forefront of things. So today at the crossroads that all of you are, so we call, in our paradigm of education, we call all the students who are graduating this year as the Corona graduates or the Corona students. Okay, because we have faced the pandemic all together. Not just you as students, there are businesses which has faced this kind of differently enabled or differently abled kind of businesses that we had to rejig ourselves. There are a lot of things that people have done, and yet at the same time we're standing tall to fight what we have to do. So I thank the university to put together such a brilliant program for you all, because when I was studying, I didn't have any of this. I had to just look at what my faculty was talking about. We didn't have Google. Today, Google is our biggest teacher, apart from our class teachers. Right? So keep yourself abreast with what's happening, and all the time look at what we need to do on a day-to-day basis. Keep your ears to the ground, look at what's happening, and create your own pathway. So don't worry, things are going to change, things are going to be different, but we have to look forward to a new normal. That's what I think we've learned end of the day. Okay, so work from home was never a thought, but today we're all blessed that work from home is sort of getting that prominence that we have to. So careers can be also work from home, careers can be from offices, careers can be your own entrepreneurship initiative, and careers can be you being a consultant. So it is up to you to choose what you want. The stories that we bring in time to come is in next few days. We're talking about film. We're talking about a brand which is sort of thought there's an idea and they created a brand. So we're going to get speakers from different walks of life to enrich your knowledge, which you already have. You just need to tap that head and see where that knowledge is. Do you all agree with me that we all have a power within us, but somebody needs to tap that? And I think today is a day when we are all thinking about how we sort of do this introspection within ourselves and how we will sort of come out with ideas as to what we need to do. So I just told Anuradha ma'am that there are a few things that I wanted to conclude with is that all of you watch movies, right? Do you all watch movies? Okay. I can see somebody saying yes, somebody saying round, somebody saying, yes, she's talking something which is familiar to me. But yes, I see a yes here as well. So I thought I'll leave you all with a great set of movies that one could watch as inspiration for ultimate careers. Okay, these are all English movies, and I urge you to watch this because it's interesting, and at the same time, there are a lot of things that you could gain out of seeing is believing, because obviously movies are made with some sort of fictitious, but some of them are real stories. So I'm going to give you a list and a few things that I loved one movie, and I'm going to just talk about that. The movie is Internship. And why am I talking today about internship? Because I think as students, you all have to get into internship with various companies that you can think about, because that will give you an idea as to, is this what I like? Is this, you're testing waters? You're actually putting a dipstick and testing, is this working for me? And so right from the year 1 to your year 3, you have to work in as many companies as possible as interns. And you have to be like sponge. Do you know a sponge? Yeah, what does it do? It absorbs water. It absorbs any liquid. So you are that sponge. You have to absorb. You cannot have an ego and say, I don't think I'm cut out for this. At that point of time, you're actually understanding and absorbing everything. And then you're introspecting and realizing what subject I would like to take or what passion is driving me to do something. Am I right? So the movie Intern was very interesting to me. And I really wanted to share the review about that. So this old gentleman in the movie, he's an intern. He's working, he applies for a job when he's retired. He's a widower, and he has nothing to do but to look for something to keep his life going. At age 60 or 61, if I recall, he actually applies for a company to intern. And why did he want to do? He had held so many great positions, and why did he want to do that? He wanted to do that because he wanted to learn something new. This movie is all about that. So everybody in the company was not older than 25, and everybody had a mockery out of this person, and there was cynical skepticism and a lot of things which the millennials do. I don't know, I don't want to tell you all that you would do it, but I think it's a natural tendency that, hey, he's an old guy, what would he do? But I believe that the movie actually changes the way you think about how people have actually started liking him. They wanted, that's the mentor that they thought they would have in their life. It could be on their personal gratification. Somebody had a problem with home, somebody had a problem with their boyfriend, girlfriends, parents, brother, sister, whatever. They would all talk to this person. So you have to find a mentor for yourself and talk to that person when you feel that you want to share something, and bounce your ideas and thoughts with somebody who can understand you and be able to give you constructive, critical feedback. Somebody says all is good, that means not good. Somebody has to give you a constructive criticism so that you'll think beyond that and you're able to surpass all these things. So with that, I would like to close and say, I think I had a monologue, which I've never had for so long, but yes, I did, so that's been the journey. And I'm telling you, girls, this morning, that you have to really think about something, write down in a paper, the 3 mantras: think, write, knock your head, and find out who your mentor is. You'll find your answers. Don't do anything beyond that. Simple things. I don't want you to go search on LinkedIn. Just think around you. And we did one small workshop. It was, when we were doing for the students of architecture. So now when you think about architecture, what do you think? First, you think about building material. Where do I find cement, bricks, this, that. Then next, how do I do my interiors? Can I go to China and buy stuff? Can I go to this place in Delhi? I'll get cheaper furniture. Can I go and buy lights here? So you start thinking like that when you're constructing a house. I don't know how many of you all have got involved in the construction, but this is how then, an industry will have to think. So what we did was a workshop. We told the students, first of all, within your 2-kilometer radius, what are the instruments or what are the material that you find? You make your house with that. Then you go beyond 15 kilometers. Then you do 25. Then you do 500. Then you do 5,000. So it all depends upon what you get in the immediate, in your inner circle. So the inner circle, the kids came out with, they made houses with camphors, with thread, with screws, nuts and bolts, what they could find within the 2-kilometer radius. I'm telling you, that was the amazing house that they made with the scrap. The next was 5-kilometer radius. They went around, found some bricks, they found some stones, they built a house there. So it kept on and improving. So what you need to look at is, first, I will start with who my immediate circle is. It could be your professors, it could be your family friends, it could be your friends, it could be your friends' friends, but you find that person in you, and then you will be able to surpass what you're thinking. All right. So I think I'm talking quite a lot about this, and we want to hear more and more stories from you girls. And I would like to hear questions if you have any. We have two formats of questions. One you put on the chat, the other one on the YouTube link that you're watching, and we'll take your questions later. But if you have anything, I would like to take one or two questions, which will be with a raise of your hands. Please do raise your hand, and you ask me the question. I'll be more than happy to answer your question. And if you feel shy, please type in the message. You can type to me privately or whatever that you want to, or even you can send me an email. I'll leave my email ID here. Do write, and that will be one way of finding your mentor. And two other things that I want to also tell you all is etiquette when you are on the social media. Very, very important. When you're on social media, don't come out like as if you're coming out of your bedroom strolling. Don't. You have to be presentable. You have to have that presence that makes you very strong. Please do not forget this. I always find that people want to keep this phone on the side. Somebody is like washing hair, somebody is putting makeup, somebody is sitting on the bed. Like, don't do all that. You have to start looking professional. So start from today, that make yourself very, very professional when you think business is serious. All right. Thank you, guys. And thank you, ma'am, and the whole of the WCC University to get all the students together. And I hand over to Neha, a young entrepreneur, a sweet-looking one. I'm sure you'll be able to connect with her more than what you would have done with me. But then that's where I want you all to think about. All right. So should we have any questions? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. If there's any questions? I'm going to leave all the movies here on the chat box, and I'm sure your professor will share with you all. And watch that movies. We can talk about it sometime. We'll review it. All right. Okay. Over to the next person who's going to introduce Neha.
We have Neha. Yeah. Ladies, can we have all of you give us a big smile? Why are you sitting like it's the end of the world? Just look at us. We are beaming with energy, and all of you sitting like dying duck in a thunderstorm.
I like
Smile.
that.
You're not being judged. There's no exam. What can you ask for?
Wow.
Some of you are saying like, oh my God, am I going to be marked for this? God knows what they're going to tell. Just relax, because the very idea and the reason in which I brought the two lovely ladies is we understand what you're going through. There's so much more. Have fun. Enjoy your life. You don't know. Just understand what Priya just spoke to you. Think about it and then listen to what Neha has to say. Who's introducing? Nalita, who's introducing Neha?
Ritika, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead. We can't hear. Some noise coming there. Unable to hear.
Ritika, go ahead.
Ritika, go ahead. Yeah.
My privilege to introduce a speaker of this webinar. Always go with the choice that scares you most, because that's the one that is going to help you grow. Now I invite Ms. Nehasha, Global Mission Overseas Careers, and also she's a fragrance evaluator working in Simrise AG and as a marketing executive in Shakti Corporation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ritika, for that lovely introduction. Hello, girls, and I'm so happy and grateful to be here today amongst all of you. Believe it or not very, very long time ago, I was right where you all are right now, confused, not knowing which direction to go in. But trust me, as long as you have a goal in your mind and if you have a good work ethic, you're going to get where you want to be. Let me just give you a gist of my journey for you all to understand better, and the small lessons that I learned through each phase of my career journey. Initially, I wanted to do biotechnology, and the engineering part of it not really suited me because I wanted to focus more on biology and not the engineering bit of it. So I chose to do my BSc in plant biology and plant biotechnology from Stella Maris College. While I was studying there, though I was loving the subjects, I didn't really know how these subjects are, going to help me. Where am I going to do with these subjects? What am I going to, achieve by learning these subjects? But then there was this one subject, not a subject actually, it was a topic under a subject called ethnobotany, and I chanced upon it. It was called aromatherapy. In this, we learned how different parts of a plant are used. Now, this really fascinated me and it really intrigued me. So, I dove deeper into this topic and I realized that this industry is vast. This really, really intrigued me, and I dove into it by doing internship. Number one, like Priya ma'am rightly said, you have to be like a sponge. You can't expect a pay, you can't expect a proper job role. You have to first understand how the work is being done, what is expected, what are the different kind of roles you have to play. And hello?
Yeah. Unmute.
Neha, you're muted. You have to unmute.
You're muted. Unmute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. So the first lesson I learned in this phase of my life was that if something that really interests you, don't be scared, don't be shy of where it is going to take you, how it is going to take you. Just dive into it, and things will work its way out. So what happened after this was I graduated, and after a lot of efforts and patience, I got a job as a fragrance evaluator in a company called Simrise. And over here, since I was a beginner, not so much work was allotted to me. That will happen to freshers. And you should not get disheartened by it. You shouldn't feel like, okay, just because I'm not been giving so much work, this is not what I want to do. What you can do is, in fact, you can take that opportunity and grasp how much of a knowledge you can. Like what I would do over there is after getting done with all my work, I would sit in the fragrance library for hours together and just smell different kind of things. I would skill myself and my olfactory notes, and this really helped me to identify the fragrances, and it gave me an edge over other evaluators. Another thing I learned over here is that there's not always someone who's going to spoon feed you. We've always had someone who's like told us what to do and what not to do. Sometimes we might not have that, and so you have to be smart enough. You have to take initiative to learn things and to go out of the way. Like not everybody is going to push you or pull you up. You have to do that by yourself at times. So that's a very important lesson I learned, and it helped me give clarity towards what I wanted to do and pursue. Now, I was lucky enough that I worked Simrise as an MNC, so I was lucky enough to see the different departments all under one roof. And one department that really intrigued me was the marketing, because they had amazing people skills, and I felt that even I have that. And sitting in a library, like sitting in a lab, I was not even talking to anybody. So why waste that skill, I would say. So I decided to pursue my marketing. I went on to study marketing in UCB, California. That was in America. And I think apart from academics, I think I learned the most in my life when I went there. I learned self-management, I learned time management, I learned money management. I became an adult overnight. Being at home with all our pampered amenities and everything, you really take so many things for granted. And I learned how to value things and myself and my skills, and that really gave me a different perspective and mindset of what I want to do with my life. And that's why here I am today as a career consultant, and I do counseling for students who want to go abroad for education. And hello?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're okay.
No, it's coming as the internet is having.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. So another thing I learned over here is you should always play to your strengths. You should always go out of your comfort zone, know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are, and stick to your strength, and things will just work out. What I did, which helped me where I am here today, is I was always busy. I never whiled my time away. I kept doing internships. I kept doing certificate courses. It's okay if you think, these certificates might not help you or where these skills are going to take you. It will come in use some way, in some manner or the other. So that's what I would conclude by saying that, don't go by the vastness of how you see things. If you think that you're really good at something, go ahead and pursue it. Everything else will fall into place. And I'm open to any questions. If anyone
have questions for Neha, you can either ask or unmute, or you can also put it on the chat box. Hepzibah, yeah? Hepsi, did you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you feeling weird to ask a question, or we're not going to say you weren't listening? You'll ask a question if you were truly listening. I always have this little fear. We think if you don't have a question, that means something is not okay. If you don't ask us, then I'm going to ask you. So it's better that you ask. Do you have any questions? Don't worry, we're not testing you. Are we all okay with this? Okay, before we are supposed to be wrapping at 12. Am I correct, Anu ma'am? Yeah. But I'm sure we had technical hitches all over, and we did lose about 12 minutes. So before we wrap, let me quickly conclude with a few things. We are here to stay. We're going to make sure that you cross that bridge. It is not about everything is okay. When things are not okay, you'll pick yourself and keep moving. And if you turn around and say, oh yeah, sure, these old ladies have enough. Okay, sorry. This lady, it's very easy for her to say. Don't even think about it. Anu will know, as an educator, I'm 6 years old, add a 0 to it. But my last course I completed was just a couple of weeks ago. I did a course online, and it was digital teaching for professors and any teaching thing. Trust me, I hated it. It was terrible. We were 789 people online across India. But I still did it because the certificate had a value. But during that course of that morning, it was a half-a-day program. We couldn't get up. We sat through. The learning was how to do things even better. Everything, as Neha mentioned, it's not going to be given all on a platter. The teacher, professor's daughter, just imagine mama is studying and she had to study along. Give me a break now. How many of you are sitting and doing that? You know how hard it is to be right there. Your mom is still achieving and you cannot escape. Becoming an adult overnight. In 2000, we did the same thing. And I was telling Priya, little did I realize there was a company called Evron. And I did very theatrically a program on soft skills for several universities in Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, down south. It was in a little studio and we did virtually, we had to do this. I never thought today we will sit like this and listen to each other. So this is just the beginning. And I should say you're all very fortunate. There are several people who are willing to support you through this way. You all know we will be meeting you soon, and Anu ma'am will keep you informed. There are a whole series, as we promised. We'll be bringing to you a lot of people who will give you a complete, what can I say? They have walked the talk. It's not just coming and preaching. Those who have practiced, who can tell you that the garden has several flowers. I met Neha thinking that she was only going to be talking about fragrance, and by the time I spoke to her, she was doing something else. She has a nose like everybody will want to borrow. She can smell it a million miles. So think about it, and I'm going to ask Anu ma'am to take over from here. And I would like and appreciate and encourage all of you to give us a feedback. Feedback is something where you're going to tell us what more, how much better, what else. We are here purely to curate it, bring to you. We need the ingredients for an excellent biryani. So you're going to give it to us. We'll make sure we'll cook it for you. Unless we have your feedback, it'll be very hard for an institution like yours. You are few of the fortunate, blessed group who can be in an institute like this. We were there, and I've seen about close to 1,300 people last year when we came there. And please consider yourself as today being your lucky day, yet another lucky day where you've met people and you have faculty who's taking you through. And I know how many nights Anu ma'am was calling me late night. We were talking. If she didn't care, she won't call. If we didn't care, we won't be doing what we're doing. So we are not here to preach. Smile, please. A big smile. Come on. We're not asking you for 1 lakh as loan. Okay. Anu ma'am, please, on to you. For you to conclude.
Thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. But for Jyoti ma'am, this session would not have happened. As she said, I used to trouble her late at night, sometimes at 10:30, sometimes at 11. And she used to very patiently reply back and talk to me. So thank you so much for curating this program and for giving us such a wonderful session. Thank you so much, Priya ma'am. It was a wonderful session. And thank you, Neha. I think the students, it's a great insight into careers in the future. Because as Priya ma'am said, traditionally when we were setting out, we only had 4 options. You could be a teacher or a lawyer or a doctor. Today, there are so many opportunities, but you need to upgrade your skills, girls. You just cannot be satisfied with what's happening in college and just attending your online classes and sleeping the rest of the time. You need to upgrade your skills. If Jyoti ma'am can do this, do a course at this time, I think you can all do this. There's so much of time that you have on your hands. Please don't waste time. Think of some new courses, think of some new opportunities, and try to grow and develop yourself. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. Now I'll hand over to the student who's going to propose the formal vote of thanks.
Before the formal vote of thanks, may I request anybody who has your questions, please make sure that you give it to Anu ma'am or to Melita so we can share it with, but also Priya has shared her own email ID. Please stay in touch.
We'll post the questions to your mail, ma'am.
Yes. Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Victoria, you can start.
Yeah. Okay. Word of thanks. On behalf of NSS units of Women's Christian College, I hereby thank Ms. Jyoti Thomas for her extraordinary support to conduct and organize this successful event. Next, I extend my gratitude to our honorable resource persons, Ms. Priya Gautam and Ms. Neha Shah, for sparing their precious time to mentor our NSS volunteers. Regarding career and beyond, we are grateful to your inspirational thoughts and insights. We hope that our volunteers will make a note in the future having this session in their minds. It's been really an immense pleasure for everyone here to have you in this wonderful morning. Last but not least, I would like to thank all our NSS participants for making this event an achievable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Special thanks to Jyoti ma'am, Priya ma'am, and Neha. Thank you.
We'll meet again, ma'am, very soon. Thank
Yes,
you all.
definitely.
And Priya, you can please watch out and see how many of them are responding to you and get back to us on that.
Sure.
You'll see Priya and my face along with Anu ma'am. Oh. Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
ஹலோ மெலிட்டா, நம்ம வந்து ஒரு ஆஃபீஸ் பேரர்ஸ் ஒரு வாட்டி மீட் பண்ணலாமா? இப்போவே ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு 5 minutes. இப்போ வேற ஐடி கிரியேட் பண்ணுமா அதுக்கு? சரி, சென்ட் பண்ண. ஜஸ்ட் ஆஃபீஸ் பேரர்ஸ் only 5 minutes. I won't take more than that. Okay, thank you.
Malita,
எஸ்டா,
எல்லாரும் இதுலயே ஜாயின் பண்ண சொல்லிடலாமா?
இதுலயே வா. மேமோட ஒரு மீட்டிங் இருக்கா.
அதான், அதுக்கும் இது வேண்டாவா? இது லைவா?
என்னது? இது லைவ்ல ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு, நீ வெளியே வா.
வந்துட்டேன்.